Proportions give us a way to solve real-life situations when we know a ratio and we know a portion of another ratio, but not the fourth number, that extra piece of that second ratio. So in problem 19, they say a state park offers pavilion rentals for picnics. If it costs $126 to rent the pavilion for 3 hours, how much would it cost to rent the pavilion for 5 hours? So looking at this, we have the first ratio here, that it is $126 if we rent the pavilion for 3 hours. And what we would like to know is how many dollars would it cost if we wanted to rent the pavilion for 5 hours. Using cross products, we get 126 times 5 needs to equal 3 times x. 126 times 5 is 630. We divide both sides by 3 and get 210 equaling x. So since x was standing for our number of dollars that it costs to rent the pavilion for 5 hours, our unit on this 210 would be dollars. And we would write our final answer as it costs $210 to rent the pavilion for 5 hours. Another thing that we can use proportions to solve are similar triangles. So a similar triangle is a triangle when two triangles where all the angles are equal. In this case, these triangles have two 90-degree angles, and whatever the measure of this angle is equal to this one, and the measure of this angle is equal to this one. So there's a rule in geometry that tells us that if triangles are similar, meaning all their angles are the same, their sides will be proportionate, or will have a ratio relationship. So we can write some ratios here where we say that the ratio of 6 to 9 needs to equal the ratio of x to 24. Now we talked on the last page about how you could multiply by a common factor to get equivalent fractions, but as you can see here, there isn't a 9 times table that equals 24. So this is where cross products can really come in handy. So using my cross products, I'm going to have 6 times 24 on one side equaling 9x on the other side. Well, 6 times 24 is 144. And when we divide both sides by 9, we get 16 equaling x. To check the solution, we could do a second proportion using two other sides. Because the proportion of 14 to 21 should also be equivalent to the proportion of 16 to 24. So I'll write my proportion 14 to 21 and say that that proportion is equivalent, or that ratio is equivalent to the ratio of x to 24. Cross multiplying, 14 times 24 and 21 times x gives me 336 equaling 21x. And when I divide both sides by 21, I once again get 16 equaling x.